Alright, so this is the Paul's Old Crap update for February 2018. I'm just going to go over the parts that I've received so far and what I plan on doing with them. So starting off, I've got a couple of parallel to serial ATA adapters. My plan for this might be one of my old PC or Mac builds that actually use the parallel ATA. I've got a couple small SSDs I'm not really doing anything with, so I might plug them into this and see if they work in the old computer. What I've also got here is a kind of like an extension cable for micro SD, and it goes to a full-size SD slot. What I'm going to do is put a SCSI to SD inside of this external hard drive case, and then figure out how to mount this little piece, maybe out the front or something. That way I can do a quick swap of SD cards depending on what machine I have this plugged into. So that way I don't have to keep hard drives in all of my old Macs, and as I do only have one SCSI to SD left, putting it in this will allow me to connect it to any of my other computers. So yeah, see how that goes. So I wasn't too sure how many Ethernet cards I still had left for my old Macs, so I did pick up a pair of LC type Ethernet cards. I don't know how many of these I'm actually going to end up using. I did have another one that I put in my LC475. Probably just hang on to these as spares until I need them. I did place another order with DigiKey. I like ordering from these guys because the shipping is always real fast. I think I placed this order in like midday and it arrived next business day, so works out pretty good. Mostly what I've got in here are capacitors for the Amiga CD32. I'm going to do a recap of that at some point. It still works, but the capacitors more than likely will need to be replaced, so I figured I'll pick these up. What I did also get is the small little chip that's typically got corroded legs on the SE30 board because of the capacitor that's right next to it that always leaks its crap all over the place. So this will probably fix my glitching video issue. I'm not really that good at soldering, but we'll see how this goes. I did pick up some thin solder and this this liquid here. The type I had before was like the pen type. I guess this is more of a like a thicker gel-ish, or yeah, thicker material, so that might be better for that chip soldering, and also some more of the desoldering braid. I really have no idea what I'm doing, but it's actually worked so far. I have recapped a number of my Mac boards, and they are working, so I guess I'm not that useless. What I've also got here, this is a Sony power supply for my SGI Indy, along with the R5000 180 MHz processor with the secondary cache. Now, if you watched my SGI Indy video, I did say something along the lines of I wasn't going to sink any more money into that. However, I am horrible when it comes to spending money, especially when I see something that I want, and I decided I was going to buy the Sony power supply, just in case the two power supplies I have, one for my main unit, one for my other unit, those were the crappier NIDEC power supplies that are known to fail often, and if I lost both of those, I would then have a useless Indy. So I did decide to pick up the Sony power supply, and while I was looking at the pricing and whatnot for other parts, I asked what he would want for the R5000, and it was a price I couldn't really say no to, so I slapped that on my credit card as well. So this is just another example of how I like to spend money I don't have on crap I don't necessarily need, but enjoy having anyway. Yeah, so I'll be putting this into my Indy at some point here, and then doing an IRX reinstall because of the difference in the CPU architecture, and then hopefully I'll be able to run some more IRX programs that the current MIPS 3 CPU can't. So that'll be fun. So, next up, I'm going to talk about what I've got from thrift stores around town. If any of you watch Lazy Game Reviews on YouTube, you'll notice he does have a series on going to Goodwills and other thrift stores and finding neat old stuff. Unfortunately, in Kelowna, I'm kind of limited to the number of stores and what each store has in terms of quality of selection. So, here's just what I've picked up from the last few days. This one is probably the one I'm most excited about. It's Microsoft Flight Simulator for Windows 95. This was $4 from Value Village. Might get around to making a video on playing that at some point here. Another one here, Lynx LS 1998 edition. Woot! This was also $4 from Value Village. These two here, probably just like cheap miscellaneous crap. I don't know. Might be kind of interesting to see what's actually in these. Both of these are CD-ROMs designed for Windows 3.1 or Windows 95. The funniest part on this one is that both of these are Y2K OK. Great! I might be able to actually play these now that it's not 1999 anymore. Another one here, Quarterdeck Internet Suite. I'm not entirely sure what's in here. The screenshots on the back are like Windows 3.1, and it actually says, oh, we got Mosaic down here. You can do dial-up through modem or LAN. Works on all of that stuff. On the front here, it supports Gopher and Muse. Yeah, I'm sure that'll be interesting to see. This thing, Calendar Creator Plus. I really don't know what the deal is with this thing. I'm not really all that excited to be making calendars, but this was $1 from some random thrift store in town here. We got here Maximizer. It's designed for Windows 95. Control every detail of your business and your life. Fascinating. It's like something for managing your contacts and time management. I don't know. Might be fun to check that out. Let's see. Intergo. Something about a family internet solution. The screenshots that are on here, they look really cheesy, which is really the only reason I bought this. So, it's for Windows 95 and Windows 3.1. This was $8 from Value Village. Value Village, I think, is known for having higher prices than typically most thrift stores when it comes to just like old crap that really nobody other than me is going to buy. But I don't know, I don't really have a collection of software like this right now, so I'm gonna keep on thrifting, and if I have to pay $8 for this, then alright, I'm fine with it. World Wide Web Encyclopedia CD. It's like a directory of websites and stuff like that. Oh, this looks so terrible. And the system requirements are a 386 or higher. And Windows 3.1 or Windows 95. This is copyright 1996. So, being a website directory, this is entirely useless. This was also $8 at Value Village. More crap like that. Best of the web. Our editors reviewed 100,000 websites, so you don't have to. Wow. It's like another website directory software. This is also copyright 1996, so entirely irrelevant at this point in time, I bet. Yeah, this was $8 from Value Village, and a lot of these things that, like these website directories, they're all still sealed. So even back in the day, nobody bothered to even use this. So I can't wait to see how terrible this actually is. Getting into these small CDs, this is mostly what the thrift stores in town actually have in stock. Nothing really full box. Most of the shelves are just these tiny titles, and having the full box isn't really a huge deal for me. I'm mainly just looking for obscure random stuff and, you know, games and applications that I've never played before. I was never really big into a lot of computer gaming back in like the 90s, so here's one. Rally Championship. The image on the cover is also the same image that's in here, the same image that's on the CD, and the same image that's on the back. There's no actual shots of the game being played. So I suspect this is probably garbage, but it's garbage that I paid $2 for. Another thing here, music, fun and learning, music games. I'm not too sure. Oh, you see the serial number. Oh, crap. Don't pirate this. This is some sort of game that teaches you music theory and whatnot. I don't know. Oh, almost broke it there. This was also $2 from... I don't remember what thrift store this was. Yeah. We got here Myst 3 Exile. I never really got into the Myst series at all, so this was $1. Figured whatever, I might try it out, but yeah, $1, who cares, right? This one, Bodyworks. I don't know what this is actually going to end up being. It's like teaches you anatomy, but the requirements are Windows 3.1, so I figured, alright, I'll just do that. This was also $1. Let's see what that is. Secret Weapons over Normandy. I've never heard of this. I have no idea if it's actually a good game or not. The only reason I bought it was LucasArts. And this was $4 from Value Village, so $4, whatever. Last one here, Unreal Tournament 2004. I've never played any of the Unreal series, but supposedly 2004 is actually a really good game. I've got to build a Pentium 2 with a Voodoo, I think, in order to try this game out for the playability for the time kind of thing. This was $2. I think this was from the SPCA thrift store here in Kelowna. So they actually have, you know, fairly decent pricing on the software, but the selection was very limited. This was only one of like the 2 or 3 CDs that I got from that particular store. Yeah, I think I did pretty good for the thrifting. I will be keeping an eye on the Value Village store that had the large boxed software, and I'll keep checking in at that place probably once every week or two. They do appear to have a lot of stock. Just got to make sure I get there and pick it up before anyone else does. And last up for the acquisitions, this is a Grandstream HT701. It's got network port and phone port on there. This is basically for connecting like an analog phone into a VoIP system like Asterix or one of those online VoIP services. I do have an older one that I've had for probably at least 10 years, the Handytone 486. This I've used way back in the day when I was using this analog phone on an Asterix system. So now that I've got 2 of these, I'm going to be toying around with modems. And I'll have a video coming up where I set up some modems and dial between them and whatnot. So the next video you can expect from me will be about that. And I've got